Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about EIGRP authentication, basic and advanced configuration. I have prepared a scenario, a pretty simple scenario to talk about for today. So as you can see on the screen, I'm running router 1 and router 2 connected to each other through an Ethernet switch and the fast gigabit Ethernet interfaces. I have one loopback interface behind R1 and loopback interface behind R2. So what are the objectives for today's session? The first objective is going to be EIGRP basic configuration. So I'm going to show you and remind you again that how easily we can configure the basic EIGRP to run EIGRP on all interfaces, and then EIGRP basic authentication with one key. And then we will going to, in this next video, we are going to, in part 2, we are going to show you how to configure EIGRP advanced authentication, which includes multiple key and key rotation with different send life and accept lifetime. Okay, then let's start. I will start from router 1 just to show you where I am. I will just initiate show IP interface brief. Okay, I have my gigabit Ethernet 00 and loopback interface 1. As you can see, they have the IP address as it's already shown on the GNS3 draw map. Okay, so I'm gonna go to configuration mode, router EIGRP autonomous system 10, EIGRP router ID 111. You can choose whatever you want here, and network 000. As you know, when I put network 00, it means that this command simply applies EIGRP instance to all active interfaces with any IP address. It doesn't matter what IP address it is. Okay, so this one is done. We'll go to R2. Let's do show IP interface brief. Okay, conf t router EIGRP autonomous system 10, EIGRP router ID 2222 and network 000. We should see our EIGRP neighborhood relationship comes up, which is up already, as you can see on the syslog message. So if I do show IP interface, show IP EIGRP neighbor, I can see that my EIGRP neighbor relationship is formed properly. So if I do show IP route EIGRP, and I can see that I can receive the interface loopback IP address, subnet IP address from router 1, and if I want to test the ping, I will do ping 10.1.1.1, which works fine. Okay, so we have accomplished the first objective here. So if I just come here and I put it done, right, very quickly. So let's jump into the second part, which is EIGRP basic authentication. When we say basic authentication, it simply means just with one key, and no multiple key, no key rotation, just one key with infinite lifetime. So let's do that. Let's kick it in. On router 1, I will go to configuration mode, and here I will make a keychain. Here, as you can see, I can put whatever I want, and this is a locally significant value for the router. So this value doesn't have to match with the value, with the keychain value and keychain name in router 2. So I will put, for example, R1 chain, right? Here I would generate a key, and key string, I will put it as Cisco 1, right? Now my key is ready. If I do show run section key, you can see here what commands I have put here for my keychain, or the better command I can tell you is that show keychain. And this command shows me that keychain, which is called R1 chain, has one key, and the password, which this one has to match with the keychain on R2, is Cisco 1, accept lifetime, always valid, valid now, and send lifetime valid now. It shows that it's always valid. Okay, we will talk about the detail of this lifetimes in the next video. For now, we are just going to have our authentication up. Before I continue, I forgot to tell you that, as you know, guys, EIGRP uses Md5 authentication mechanism. So what does it mean? It means that it's going to be, it would have been very stupid to just send the password for the authentication between the two routers or multiple routers in plain text, right? So that would be absolutely useless, because somebody could initiate a man-in-the-middle attack, and if they could capture the packet, they could see what is the password, right? What the password is. So what happens exactly is that when EIGRP generates the password based on the Md5 formula, Md5 hashing algorithm, right? And the output of this algorithm is a digest, and EIGRP puts that, places that digest inside the hello packet when it sends on the multicast on the Ethernet media, right? So we are not going to do packet capture here, because we are just assuming that we are on production network, and we really don't have time and opportunity to do the packet capture. But imagine that if you're in production, if you're not in production, and if you can do packet capture, what you see on the hello packet is that when the authentication is enabled, there is another new part of the header, of the EIGRP header, that is called authentication. And there are a couple of elements there, and what you can see, one element is digest, and that digest has to match with other routers in order to form the neighbor, EIGRP neighbor relationship. Okay, so that was the introduction I wanted to remind you guys. I'm sure you already know. Let's go on router 1. So we have configured the keychain. We will go to interface gigabit 00. Why interface gigabit 00? Because this is how authentication can be configured for EIGRP instance in a Cisco router. And the reason is that you will have the flexibility to configure authentication for certain interfaces which are running EIGRP, right? So for example, imagine that on router 1 you have gigabit 00 and you have gigabit 01, which also is running EIGRP, but for some reasons, okay, whatever, you don't want to perform authentication on that interface. So you have this flexibility. Now, what we do, we have to put two commands here. IP authentication mode EIGRP autonomous system 10, and here if I do the question mark, you can see Md5. That's the only option it gives to me. Okay, so here I will put this command, and what exactly this command tells the router is that, hey router, please understand that on this interface, if I'm going to run authentication mode for EIGRP autonomous system 10, it's going to be Md5. That's it. If I haven't still I haven't told my router that I'm running authentication for this EIGRP instance on this interface, right? And as you can see, instantly my neighbor relationship went down here, and that's completely acceptable. Why? Because right now I have told my router that to consider EIGRP authentication for this interface, but this router has no idea what he's talking about, right? So the neighbor relationship is turned down, right? Okay, so let's continue. And the last command is IP authentication keychain and EIGRP autonomous system 10. And what was my keychain name? My keychain name was R1 chain, right? Okay, router 1 is ready. Let's quickly do the same on router 2. So here, as you can see, immediately the last syslog message I got was that authentication failure. So this guy is trying to perform authentication on EIGRP, but this guy has no idea what he's talking about. So let's educate router 2 as well. Conf. First, we will define our keychain. Keychain, it can be whatever you want, so I will put R2 chain, right? Key 1, key string, Cisco. Okay, now I have created my keychain, but that keychain is just sitting over and doing nothing. So I have to tie that keychain to my interface authentication, right? So I will go to configuration mode, interface geek 00, IP authentication mode, EIGRP autonomous system 10, Md5 IP authentication keychain, EIGRP autonomous system 10, and my keychain name. If I go up here, where is it? R2 chain, this is the name, and bingo. We should see the neighbor relationship comes up. Okay, it didn't. Let's do some troubleshooting together. Show keychain. This is Cisco. Show keychain. Oh, Cisco 1. Okay, I forgot to do that again. So this was actually a good lesson. So as you can see, this key string and your password has to exactly match, and it includes uppercase and lowercase. It's case sensitive. So I will go to config keychain and key 1 and Cisco key string Cisco 1, right? So let's see what is going to happen, and there you go. You can see that our EIGRP neighbor came up again. Right, so if I do show IP EIGRP neighbor, I can see my neighbor is up. Here, if I do show IP route EIGRP, I can see that on my router 1 I'm receiving the EIGRP route, which is the loopback interface on router 2. So here we can say that our objective EIGRP basic authentication is also fulfilled, and next video I'm going to configure EIGRP advanced authentication, which includes multiple key and key rotation based on time. That's going to be a little bit more complex configuration, but it's really fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope it was informative for you.